A significant shift in the Puna lava flow path now has officials saying that it could reach Kaohe Homestead subdivision as early as later today.
As of yesterday afternoon's flyover assessment, the lava was only 4/10 of a mile away. We have Mileka and Lincoln joining us now from Puna with the very latest. Mileka.
Aloha, good morning, Grace, Steve. Yes, USGS geologists made that prediction after their flyover on Thursday. And then last night at a community meeting at Pahoa High School, they also told members of the public who had gathered for that very latest update that if that lava flow continues at its current speed along its current path, it could then hit Highway 130 within the next 2 weeks. Now, this is very important because up until a few days ago, the lava flow has been advancing slowly in a north-northeastern direction, which is essentially parallel to the Waukele Forest Reserve and Kaohe Homestead's boundary. But it did shift Thursday, and it is once again heading more directly toward the Kaohe neighborhood at a rate of about 300 to 400 yards a day. Scientists say the flow is traveling quickly through a narrow lava tube system.
This long tube system that's keeping the lava hot means that lava is going to continue to be funneled to the flow front. And it looks like that's going to keep happening. And so the consequence of that is that the flow is going to keep moving downhill and it's going to keep moving toward residential areas for the foreseeable future.
Now, crews were out yesterday with bulldozers in this one particular portion to clear an emergency alternate road that will route through Hawaiian Beaches and Hawaiian Paradise Park. Officials say the work they're doing on Railroad Avenue should be complete by September 24th, but Government Beach Road is a little more challenging because it's only 10 feet wide in many spots. Now, at this time, Hawaii County Civil Defense officials have not issued any evacuation warnings, and that's because, again, right now they're saying that the danger is not imminent. There are no homes or businesses or any people who are currently in danger of being impacted by that flow in the next 24 to 48 hours, though they are very carefully monitoring the situation. The difference in the tone last night at that Pahoa community meeting is that really for the first time, officials both from Hawaii County and USGS geologists are calling this situation inevitable, saying it's not really a matter of if anymore, but rather when and where. Reporting live from Hawaiian Beaches, where, as you can see behind me, they're starting to clear that emergency access road. We'll have more on that throughout the morning, live here in the Puna District. Mileka, Lincoln, Hawaii News Now.
The Puna lava flow has advanced another 200 yards since yesterday and is now within 2/10 of a mile from the edge of Kaohe Homestead subdivision. Now, despite its proximity, no evacuations have been ordered. Today, our Mileka Lincoln was the invited guest of a resident in that neighborhood. She joins us there with more.
Officials say the lava flow is closest to the northwest corner of Kaohe Homestead subdivision, where there are no houses, but 284 acres of vacant land. Now, some residents are already voluntarily packing and evacuating, but one woman has decided she's not taking anything with her.
If anybody should get that bike, it's you,
I'd
my
be very
friend.
much interested in whatever parts he has.
He would have loved that.
It's been a tough year for Lori Enriquez. She lost her husband in January and hasn't lived on her 17 acres here in Kaohe since Isel barreled through. She says she's not fearful, but has instead reached an understanding and acceptance of what she says she knows she can't change.
Madam Pele, the volcano is coming. There's no way to stop her. This is her land. And I believe that very much. My husband was a native Hawaiian man. And we come here to Hawaii, we build our homes knowing that there's a possibility that she could take us. The decision was made because it's inevitable.
Enriquez's husband's family is from the Kalapana area. They say they faced this situation many times.
Each of us have our own way on how we deal with these types of situations, yeah. And we really don't judge each other. We support each other, and that's the only way this community is going to make it, is that it doesn't matter on your beliefs, where you came from, color of your skin, or anything. It's helping each other.
Enriquez says she knows her approach won't work for everyone who's facing an important decision about what to do in the next few days. But she says she hopes others are coming up with their own contingency plans to take care of themselves and their families. Access into Ka'ohe Homestead subdivision is still strictly limited to residents. We were only allowed past the 24-hour security guard because we're the invited guests of a homeowner. Officials are again reminding folks that the flow cannot be seen nor accessed from any public areas. They're asking for continued respect and privacy for the people living in this neighborhood as they cope with a very difficult time. Reporting from Puna, Mileka Lincoln, Hawaii News Now.
And stay with Hawaii News Now for continuing coverage of the lava flow threats.
Our Mileka Lincoln is live tonight right at the old Chain of Craters Road, covered by lava. Mileka, a little windy out there.
It is. It's finally starting to cool after a very hot day here in the Pahoa and Puna area. Right now, off of Chain of Craters Road, we've already seen dozens and dozens of cars pass by. That's because there are about 5,000 visitors who come here through Hawaii Volcanoes National Park daily. We're going to soon be adding to that the potential of thousands of residents who live in the lower Puna district. Now, as you guys just reported, that Puna lava flow has stalled, but experts, officials are telling us that they do expect it to pick back up again. And when it does, it's going to continue that march, they believe, downslope, heading Makai to the ocean. And as a result, will not only cross Highway 130, but also the alternate routes that have been established at Government Beach Road and Railroad Avenue, which is why Chain of Craters becomes so important. The key, though, is that they need to clear about 8 miles of roadway that is covered with old lava flows in order to connect the Kalapana Highway 130 junction to the paved portion of Chain of Craters roads that's here within the National Park Service. That work has already begun today. The big challenge there, of course, is they're saying that on average, the lava as high as 40 feet, but in some places possibly towering at 100 feet. Bulldozers will need to level that out so they can build over and again create that emergency route. It'll be one lane, allowing Puna residents to pass through the park without any fees. They're hoping to work together, state, county, federal officials, to make this as easy for folks as possible. We have all of the details and the maps of what you can anticipate coming up later tonight on Hawaii News Now. Reporting live from Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, Mileka Lincoln, Hawaii News Now.
All right, Mileka.
Well, the Puna lava flow has advanced another 65 yards towards Pahoa town. It's now less than a mile from Apa'a Street, and the USGS says if the flow continues to push forward at its current rate, it could reach the street in 2 weeks. Although there is no immediate threat, residents in Lower Puna are being urged to use this time to prepare. In fact, the State Department of Health is already urging anyone with medical issues who lives in the path of the projected flow to relocate. Mileka Lincoln joins us live from Pahoa with reaction from one such couple out there. Mileka?
Aloha, Stephanie. Yes, you're absolutely right. That warning comes as officials are concerned not just about access, but also emergency response times should the Puna lava flow cross Highway 130, as it is currently projected to possibly do in the next 21 days. But relocating isn't that easy for many. Arnold and Jethlyn Gregory sold off their Oklahoma farm and built their Hawaiian Shores home 10 years ago.
It's been an amazing life. It really has. And she's the influence of all of it.
The couple's been married 52 years and weathered other storms, but nothing quite like the past 2 months.
We've had catastrophes here. I came down with cancer. We had a hurricane that came through, and then the lava flows coming through.
Arnold's fighting stage 4 cancer and is scheduled to start chemotherapy in Hilo next week.
If we can make it to the chemo session, we'll do it. If we can't, we have to go around or do something else, we'll do that.
The retired school teachers are hoping they won't have to move anytime soon.
Of course you want to be in your familiar situation to be able to stay home. So we will as long as we can, and that's a possibility.
Watching and waiting as the lava flow projections have changed over the last few weeks have been tough.
I think particularly at the beginning it was very frightening because at that point we didn't have any options. As time has gone on, we put some things in place, and so I feel a little more restful about it.
The Gregorys are worried about being isolated if the flow cuts through Highway 130, but they're hopeful the bypass routes will allow them to stay home and still continue Arnold's treatment with his doctors in Hilo.
We feel really good with them here, so that's something that's kind of important for us to not have to make changes.
The uncertainty is challenging, but the couple is preparing the best they can.
I don't know where we'll go for sure. It's going to be a hard choice to do, but if we have to do it, we will. It will depend on what my sweetheart wants.
I love that, what his sweetheart wants. Now, coming up at 6, we also talked to the Keonepoko Elementary School principal. That campus could potentially take a direct hit from the Puna lava flow. That's if it continues downslope on its projected path. We'll tell you what school officials are doing to prepare students and parents for more than just logistics. That's all coming up at 6. Reporting live from Pahoa, Mileka Lincoln, Hawaii News Now.
Breaking news in Pahoa tonight, where lava has covered the first road on the outskirts of town and families are now on evacuation notice. The lava started sizzling the pavement overnight while most people were sleeping. The flow is now heading toward the Pahoa Cemetery as Civil Defense spreads the word.
For now, I do have, a place to stay.
There are no mandatory evacuation orders yet, but families are being told they may have to leave in the next few days. Good evening, everyone. I'm Keahi Tucker in for Lisa Kubota tonight. Experts say the lava flow may be speeding up in the hours ahead as it approaches steeper terrain on either side of the cemetery. Mileka Lincoln's live at the scene where families are packing up to leave town. Mileka.
Aloha, yes, Keahi, you're absolutely right. The Puna lava flow crossed Apa'a Street just before 4 o'clock this morning. USGS geologists with the Hawaiian Volcano Observatory who've been on the scene all day on the ground assessing the situation and collecting data actually just told me over the phone that the Puna lava flow has in fact picked up speed. They now believe it's moving closer to 15 yards per hour. That will certainly have an impact on evacuations in the area and just how long people will comfortably be able to stay in their homes before they have to leave. Now, we want to show you some of our exclusive footage from our flyover today with Paradise helicopters. You can see here the lava flow crossed Apa'a Street, also locally known as Rubbish Dump Road, north of the Pahoa transfer station, which was not impacted at all. Now, it did come into contact with one of Helco's utility poles. However, it appears for now the experimental heat protecting strategy that they employed by encasing the bottom of the poles with cinder and cement has actually held up. Now, the pole is still standing. No outages have been reported. According to USGS, the flow is now an estimated 75 yards from the Pahoa Cemetery. Though, Keahi, as you mentioned, it's unclear if the lava will pass its outside edge or widen and cross through it. HVO scientists say the flow front is about 40 yards wide, but appears to be spreading out and is now half a mile away from Pahoa Village Road. Hawaii County Civil Defense officials want everyone downslope to continue to monitor their updates and be ready because the flow can shift or pick up at any moment. They want to make sure folks are prepared.
We understand how difficult this has been because it's unlike any other hazard like a hurricane where you see it coming and it's over in a matter of days. This is something that's been playing out for months, and it's had so many dramatic changes in advancements, direction, all of this that has frustrated people. We've said that in the meetings that we've gone to. We will frustrate you with this event because it's going to be very difficult to predict with any certainty. But we just need, I guess, everybody to understand the one certainty that has always been there is that there's no indication the flow would stop.
Now, Apa'a Street is no longer open to the public. A sign went up at some point today asking folks to please respect the residents living there while they pack up and start preparing to leave. Many began gathering their belongings weeks ago, but the process was certainly accelerated today when officials started handing out those evacuation notices, letting them know they needed to be out no later than Tuesday.
We're praying really hard that it'll spare us on this area here because my whole families in this subdivision that we live in, so we're all in needles and pins, waiting and waiting. So I'm just waiting for it to just go down there where it wants to go and be done with it so we can go forward.
And one of the ways that people can plan and move forward is by having access to information, which is exactly why Hawaii County Civil Defense officials have committed to providing at least 2 daily updates with the current status of the flow's movement. They also tell us, and this is coming directly from USGS geologists, that the flow front is very active right now. There were frequent methane explosions. One veteran even described the situation as unnerving. Now, the reason why we're here in front of Sure Foundation is because this is one of the sites that has volunteered to become a shelter when those evacuations become mandatory. We'll have even more details on that in our continuing coverage, and that's at 10 o'clock tonight. Reporting live here in the Puna area, Mileka Lincoln, Hawaii News Now.
The Puna lava flow burned through more than 100 yards of brush today. passing through the Pahoa Cemetery as it continues pushing downslope toward the town. Mileka joins us now live from Pahoa with the very latest. Hi, Mileka.
Lynn, yes, USGS geologists with the Hawaiian Volcano Observatory tell us that the lava flow is continuing to advance at a rate of anywhere from 10 to 15 yards per hour. That means that it could travel up to 390 yards in one day. Now, as of the last measurement they were able to take around 5 p.m. before nightfall, they tell me that the lava flow is now within 4/10 of a mile to where we are right now along Pahoa Village Road. And they say if it continues to move at its current rate of speed, it could reach this point by Tuesday evening. As you can imagine, everyone is very closely monitoring the situation. We understand, in fact, that USGS geologists and HVO scientists are still on the scene tonight, assessing what they can. Conditions at the leading edge, we're told, are very active. HVO scientists who were there all day say it's very unpredictable as well. And the number of methane explosions in the area have made it a hazardous situation.
Methane explosions are very powerful. They can throw rock up several yards. So some of the hazards from a methane explosion could be debris hitting someone. Some of the hazards could be it occurring right beneath your feet and making you fall over in an area that may be too close to the lava. And then there's also the other hazard with the falling trees that's in the area. Some of the methane explosions are really small and some of them are really large, where you hear the boom from a very far distance. Right now, it's pretty constant because there is some really thick vegetation that part of the flow is burning through.
Hawaii County civil defense officials say this is just one of the reasons why they cannot provide public access right now for viewing of the lava flow. When we talk about the potential impact zone of where they anticipate the lava flow is going to cross through Pahoa Village Road, right behind us is actually at the intersection of Apa'a Street, and between there moving down toward Post Office Road. So as you can imagine, this is a time of great uncertainty for everyone throughout the Pahoa area. But one man is finding comfort in his faith, despite the fact that his house lies potentially in this projected path, and this isn't the first time.
Yeah, it's so neat how memories just come back when you look into these photos.
The pictures may be yellowing with age, but for Ali'i Hawanio, the memories are vivid.
No, the weekends we spent down there camping and cleaning up the property, planting coconut trees, cutting the grass. And then one day when my parents decided they were able to build a home.
Hawanio's mother and father were papaya farmers. Their Kalapana beach home was a dream come true, fueled by hard work and unwavering faith. But in 1991, a lava flow took their home.
You could see it coming. And so it was that time to start to prepare, yeah. But for me, I was more amazed at how slow it moved. But still, after it moved and passed you up, then there's nothing there but this pohoi, you know. It's a different kind of devastation, I guess. Yeah, it's not quick. It was slow.
Not once did Hawanio imagine his Pahoa home would be threatened.
It was a shock when we heard the news, especially right after the storm.
This is the home he was raised in. Built in the early 1920s, it was once his grandfather's house.
A lot of memories, a lot of family gatherings over here.
Hawanio has started packing.
A lot of the memorabilia are all packed away.
And unlike his family's Kalapana home, he hopes to witness the lava pass through, if and when it does.
To see it in actuality, I think it might bring closure, you know, to know that it's done and turn that page and we're starting another chapter.
4 generations have helped write his Ohana's story here, but Hawanio says he'll be ready when it's time.
You know, honestly, it's just material. I came into this world naked, I'm going out naked. I ain't taking this with me. But the memories I can take, right? And that's what the most precious, and that's what I can keep.
I love that. Ali'i Hawanio, an incredible man, and just one example of the many residents here who've just shown such faith and resilience. We've talked to several of them, and they all seem to have a bit of this acceptance that at this point, there's really nothing more they can do other than to prepare. And when we talk to Hawaii County civil defense officials, they say that they've made contact with 95% of the people in this area who tell them that they actually do have a place to relocate to. Very few are saying that they're going to need emergency
emergency shelters. And that's an example, too, of this community pulling together, friends, family members, offering them places to stay. This is just the beginning of what we know is going to be a very tedious, very difficult time in the weeks ahead. And we'll be here covering all of this for you. Reporting live here in Pahoa, Mileka Lincoln, Hawaii News Now.
But first, our other big story tonight, all eyes on the Puna lava flow as it continues to move in a northeast direction through Pahoa.
Lava pushed through a fence marking a property boundary, and by dawn this morning, the lava had crossed into two privately owned properties. Area photos showed the lava claiming an unoccupied farm shed.
Yeah, only our cameras were there when Governor Neil Abercrombie arrived at the Incident Command Center at Pahoa Community Center.
We're told the governor took an aerial tour of the lava flow to view the damage. And tonight we've learned the lava is about 100 yards from the next closest home.
Folks, they're obviously on high alert as that flow creeps closer. Our Mileka Lincoln joins us live now from Pahoa. Mileka, it keeps coming closer and closer. What's the latest?
It does. Aloha, Chris, Steph. In fact, we're at one of the homes just off Pahoa Village Road that's in between Post Office Road and Apa'a Street. This is considered the impact zone where USGS geologists with the Hawaiian Volcano Observatory believe the lava is about to start heading. And as you can see behind me, black smoke has been billowing. It's starting to just taper out a bit here after a tire fire was sparked after 2 p.m. today. That was when the lava flow is become the closest to the area that we are right now. Neighbors report that there was a huge pile of just abandoned tires and also empty vehicle parts that were left behind in a lot there. When that got torched, it sent up again that just billowing black cloud. The concern from officials here of the toxicity and the hazard of that smoke. They're very carefully watching wind conditions to make sure that it doesn't start blowing into this residential area. It has been a very emotional 24 hours, as you can imagine, for the residents who live here. The lava flow has moved at very inconsistent paces, anywhere from 2 yards per hour up to 20 yards per hour. They're all here on high alert. They are packed and they are prepared for the possibility that if it continues moving at its current rate of speed, they may have to leave their homes tonight. Take a listen to what one resident here off of Pahoa Village Road has to say about what this experience has been like.
Now that she's right there, it's hard to explain. I don't know. I don't know what to say, how to feel, or it's just a trip. It's a big trip. The impact is going to be severe. I mean, already if you drive on the back road, it's bumper to bumper traffic just because all of this is happening. Once she crosses the road, I know it's going to be mayhem.
One of the things that's helping to limit, of course, that mayhem right now is the fact that this area is restricted. It's off limits. It's just available for residents who live here and their invited guests, as we are tonight. They also have Helco crews in the area, and more importantly, Hawaiian Telecom crews who are working on that heat protection, that device that's going around their poles in hopes that it will protect it when the lava flow comes passing through here at temperatures of up to 2,000 degrees. They were putting additional cinder on their poles in the area, and that's because we did learn today that the pole on Apa'a Street that made contact with the flow early Saturday morning and had up until today remained standing was actually brought down from below. That's because even though the flow is well past that portion of Pahoa, much closer here, of course, to Pahoa Village Road, there is still molten lava that is passing underneath the surface, and it began to disintegrate the integrity of that pole. It eventually caught fire and came down. That's one of the lessons learned here on Pahoa Village Road, which was why, again, the Hawaiian Telecom crews here spent all day and all night around the clock adding additional cinder in place in hopes that they will continue to provide services to the people who live here in this neighborhood. They're very, again, closely watching the situation with the potential impact here on Pahoa Village Road and to one of the structures here in the next several hours, potentially before midnight tonight. Reporting live from Pahoa, Mileka Lincoln, Hawaii News Now.
Aloha, Grace, Steve. We understand this morning that there were 2 people who were arrested for criminal trespassing yesterday afternoon. This after they had been bragging to reporters and showing off household items that they had dipped into that molten lava, including an egg beater and a golf club. Now, we understand that they cut through county property just Mileka of the Pahoa Community Pool, so they weren't out at the leading edge, which is here off of Pahoa Village Road as it's moving through private residential property, but they were trespassing again through county land. Officials telling us that they need to make sure people understand how dangerous the situation is. The hazardous conditions there include, of course, not just the lava itself and the unpredictable nature of that, but the methane gas explosions that have been reported consistently there by USGS geologists with the Hawaiian Volcano Observatory. These are veteran scientists who are often working out in the field, and they have told us that their experiences out there have been unnerving just because of how unpredictable they are. Some of those blasts are really booming. They can shoot up debris into the air. You can get hurt. You can actually lose your balance and become too close to the flow. That's, again, the reason why county officials are asking everyone to please just try to follow their rules right now. They will provide public viewing access when the flow actually reaches public property. They were talking about that this morning, how they can go about coordinating that to make sure that logistically there's no traffic blocking the roads. People have the opportunity to get in and out safely. And that's the situation right now, is that it's not currently safe. Another thing that they say is that when you put yourself at risk by going somewhere to try to get a closer look at the lava flow, what you're also doing is putting emergency first responders at risk as well, because then they have to go in and potentially rescue you. These are not safe situations. They're asking for everyone's cooperation right now. As for the very latest on the flow, here at Pahoa Village Road, it will hopefully be another quiet day, and that's with good news this morning from Hawaii County Civil Defense officials that the lava flow did not advance at all last night. No forward progress. It's still 480 feet from this street. It's wonderful news for the residents here, and the neighbors also reporting that it hasn't gotten any closer to the berm that one property owner has developed around his lot. We'll have more details for you as they continue to develop, not just on air, but online and also streaming on your mobile device. Reporting live here from Pahoa, Mileka Lincoln, Hawaii News Now.
Lisa, thank you so much. Over on the Big Island, after weeks of close calls, the Puna lava flow claimed its first home today, an old single-story house near the transfer station that had been spared by the first finger of lava last month. That breakout had just formed in the past couple of days.
And the family who lived there had moved out weeks ago, but made it back in time to watch their home burn. Our Mileka Lincoln is live in Pahoa with their reaction tonight. Mileka.
Aloha, Steph, Keahi. Yes, in fact, the house sits on 45 acres owned by the Pelfrey family who built the house in the mid-90s. Several ohana have called it home since.
The 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom house was last occupied by John Bird and his ohana. They voluntarily evacuated at the beginning of October because they needed the time to move their family of 8 and all the livestock they were raising on their farm. They've since relocated to Kalapana.
It was rather unique and kind of touching. At the same time we're pouring a new concrete pad, then Pele's taking the old house. So it was all, I don't know, to me I kind of almost got the feeling that she said, okay, you guys are okay now, you got your new place and I'm going to take the old one.
The Birds say their heart goes out to other families who they know will be experiencing the same thing.
It's going to be agonizing for a lot of folks, you know, and I wish everybody the best, and as long as the ohanas, you know, everybody stays safe, that's the main thing.
It changes things, but it's a good change. It brings like new chapters, new memories, new adventures.
A barn and garage on the lot is still standing, but officials say the lava flow, which is currently stalled within 2 feet of it, may still bring it down.
Now, Hawaii County Civil Defense officials tell us that this particular breakout of the Puna lava flow is now 400 yards away from the next closest residential structure. They say the leading edge, though, which has stalled since October 30th, is still 480 feet from here along Pahoa Village Road. Reporting live here in Puna, Mileka Lincoln, Hawaii News Now.
Good to have you there. Thanks a lot, Mileka.